Hello! Today is my birthday! We'll get into transit stuff in just a little bit. I just want to say that, yeah, I am so close to finishing my first book, and I just wanted to combine, if anybody, I mean, not to be presumptuous, but if anybody wants to send a little birthday gift, if anybody sends $5 or more to my PayPal or my Venmo, then I'm happy to add your emails to the list of getting my first book when it's finally done. We'll get to update on the book in a second. But yeah, any bit of appreciation is much appreciated and helps me to continue to do my astrological work. And there's so much. Even if I'm not putting out videos, there's always more astrological thoughts and studies, and I'm so excited. So much is gonna pan out over the course of this year. And again, so much of course, everything's connected. So this has to do with the energies too, which we'll get into in just a moment, and talk about them universally, not just in relation to myself. But yeah, so to give me a little bit of birthday love and appreciation and support for my astrological work, and for you to get my book when it's completed, the links to be able to do all of that is in the About section. It'll be the top little part of that. So again, it's much appreciated. It really does help every little bit. So again, $5 or more and you get das Buch. I'm very excited. So yeah, quick update. I'm so close. After 4 years of writing, I'm so close to being ready with my first book. I started editing the section on relationships, talking about, what is the book? Just real quick, and bear with me, I know some people are just wanting the transits here, but this is all part of, again, it all connects, so I think a lot of people would be interested in this as well. But this first book is called Infinite Love, How to Grow Our Self-Awareness and Empathy, and it's the epitome of all of what I've learned over the last 10 years. It's turned into 125,000 words, and there's psychological insights, there's spiritual insights, sociological insights, even talking about us as a species, talking about our society and whatnot. But it's all focused on helping us to be able to become more aware of ourselves, to be at peace with ourselves, to empower ourselves, to heal ourselves, and to be aware of others, and to be empathetic, and to be able to help them on their journeys as well, and to be able to help our relationships. So what I've been up to recently is I've been let me back up. So it's about tropical astrology, of course, as well as the MBTI system, which, as a lot of people know, but maybe not everybody knows, I utilize just as much as tropical astrology in my studies and in my work, and I really love both systems. And so I've been focused on compatibility, romantic compatibility, love life, of course. It's a huge part of the book. It's kind of like the gem of the book, and in a certain respect, certainly it's one of the big gems there. And I've just been filling out the most probable, basically for each one of our personality types, we have multiple most probable types for us to, of course, be friends with, but also specifically exploring in the book, to be partners with. And it's not, it's not cookie cutter, everyone's going to be different, but there's basically 8 most probable types per type, and I've been just editing, and there's, God is blessing me with so much abundance of information, well, always, but especially with this editing, it's been wonderful. I've added like 15,000 words just in this section alone, so that's been awesome. But it's also been like, when is this book going to be done? So I am nearing the end, but I've kind of had this big old detour. Honestly, after this section, which I'm going to finish within the next couple of days, I'm going to be then finishing the rest of the editing. So we're looking at the next couple of weeks. Thank you for those who've been so incredibly patient. I really appreciate it. I've been working on this particular book for the last 1.5 years, and it is so close. So again, if you want to be a part of it, if you want to support my work, and what's so cool is once the book is done, then I'm going to be focusing on 108 new YouTube videos, and I'm just going to be like smashing them out like when I first started my channel. There's already so much, this whole list of videos, and of what I'm going to do. So very excited. Anyways, thank you for those who wish me happy birthday. Thank you, money or not, but especially regardless. But I do really appreciate it if you are able to send a little energy through money, love my way. And again, I'll be happy to give to you in return with the book when it's finally ready in the next couple of weeks. One last thing, make sure you put your email in the information for the payment. Because I need to know where to send the book. Through PayPal, there's an email already connected, but like through Venmo or Cash App, for sure. Okay, so I think that's everything for the update. So the energies that are out there right now, needless to say, of course, the sun energy is one I was born with, it's my birthday, but also the Mercury energy. Mercury's in Gemini, and that's something new from the last video. We'll get into that specifically in just a moment. And then Venus is literally down to the degree where my Venus is natally, and Mars is 3 degrees away. So long story short, I know these energies very well, and I'm not biased. I'm about to say something positive about these energies. I'm not biased just because I have these energies. This is just true for these energies. These energies are, most of them are neutral. Gemini is neutral, Venus and Mars and Leo. What I mean by neutral is they're not particularly challenging. They're not particularly smooth. They're not particularly rough, right? Mercury in Gemini is very smooth. So what does this all mean? Basically, if we are... Okay, two things. Actually, real quick. We are at the end of the lunar cycle. So we are leading up to the new moon in a couple of days. So we want to keep this in perspective. We want to be patient and starting in a couple of days with the major new projects, etc. But that being said, Mercury is, again, very smooth in Gemini. It has its challenges. God knows I know that. I could go on and on about that. But that's actually part of its challenge, is going on and on about things and then getting lost on a tangent. But the opportunity here for all of us over the course of, I would say, really the next week, especially even like the next 2 weeks, as Mercury is also continues to be in Gemini, is the ability to think clearly and to move forward precipitously, with great passionate effort, we'll get into that through the Leo energy, with great passion, to be able to move forward in incredible ways. And this is really a lovely time period. Basically, just think of it as like the rest of June. This is a really lovely time period because we've had so many stops and starts this year. Like we talked about, January through March was retrogrades with Mars and Mercury and post-retrograde shadow period, and then May we had another Mercury retrograde, and it was yada yada yada. Long story short, this is a really wonderful time period to just move forward, to think clearly, to tap into our sense of fun and play, and then to be able to get a lot of stuff done. And so again, from personal experience with Venus and Mars and Leo, that really is the key. It's a funny thing because as much as other energies that I have, especially my Aquarius, is like, okay, let's set a goal, let's be disciplined, let's do these things. That works for those energies. Mars and Venus and Leo in particular, I have to like trick myself on a daily basis to just like, I it doesn't even work sometimes. It's not even about tricking myself. Basically, I have to like just give in to the sense of play, I do what I love all day long, and I do a lot of different things. That's the Gemini. But I think for everybody, we're all experiencing these energies. So from personal experience, just allow yourself to play. It's tricky because like you can still be disciplined, but just you've got to give time to your schedule to laugh, to have fun. Again, to let your inner child out. Fire energy is the inner child. And instead of trying to put out the fire and then wonder why, you're not getting anything done then because you're just depressed or whatever, you'll find that when you allow yourself to let your heart guide you, it sounds a little silly, a little cliche, but it is absolutely how these energies work from personal experience on a day-to-day basis for my entire life. You have to allow your sense of this is fun, I enjoy this, to come out. Because if that's not there, you're gonna struggle with the more challenging sides of these energies, which we'll get to in just a moment. And what's cool is like when it's good to have your goals and set those goals for sure, but when you allow yourself to have fun with it and just kind of let your heart guide you, of like, again, being like a kid, truly. And sometimes I'm laughing at myself. I'm like, I'm just a child. But that's how these energies work. And that's when I'm at my best. And again, we're all experiencing these same energies. So it's going to be how we're all at our best during the next, really, like for the next month, actually. But especially with all this Gemini energy too. Is just like, if you're having trouble focusing on a thing, go do the thing you want to do first. Go play, and then you get it out of your system, and then you show up, and it's like, sunshine, I have all the energy, let's go. It's just how these things work. So don't try and control it. This can be especially frustrating for people who have Earth, Mars, or a lot of Earth in their energies in general. Just don't try and control it. Let the fun come out. Obviously, I don't mean like being reckless, like, oh, I'm going to go get drunk and then I'm going to go work. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about positive energy, having fun, but still like building things, doing good things, positive, healthy actions, stuff like that. Now, the challenging part, and this is one great way, what I just mentioned is a great way to avoid this kind of challenge. But the challenging part with this came up in a reading a couple days ago when I was reading for my friend, is with Venus and Mars and Leo, again, this too I have personal experience with. I also have rising in Jupiter Leo, but this Venus and Mars is really like the nucleus of the passionate heart of Leo, within me and within, any Leo energies. I was saying to my friends in the reading, during this time, it's quick note, wildfires always seem to happen when Mars is in Leo. I remember 2 years ago when there was horrible wildfires here in the western United States. Mars had just entered Leo. It's so funny. So somebody out there was being they were being reckless with it. We don't want to be reckless with these kind of energies. When they start fire, and that's actually a good metaphor for really what I was about to say in general is, people who are not handling these energies well, who are not staying calm, who are not in tune with their inner child. Because if you're in tune with your inner child, then you're mature, you're fun, like you can still share, you care, it's like, oh, okay, it's nap time, I'm going to take a nap. If we're not in tune with our inner child, we become a toddler. We throw temper tantrums. We're terrible. We burn. Again, the wildfire is a great metaphor for this. We just burn and we explode, and that hurts people. That hurts our relationships. It hurts everything. It might feel good in the moment, and a big part of this is anger, ego, and pride. It might feel good in the moment to just explode or whatever, but again, taking from personal experience with these energies personally, I learned a long time ago that anytime I let my ego, I let my pride, my sense of anger take over, it burned things down to the ground. And even when I was able to make amends, which wasn't always, it still leaves a scar in the relationship. Again, it's been a long time since that's happened, but from personal experience, that's how these things happen. So it's tricky because Fire and Mars energies need to be expressed. Fire and Mars works best when, we're angry and we let it go. It's fire. It happens and then it chills. But we need to be really mindful of our anger because, again, we're at the last part of a lunar cycle. And even over the course of the next lunar cycle in a couple of days, when the moon's in Gemini, we have a bit of tension here that can be very constructive and helpful, but we got to be mindful. Like with every tension, we have Jupiter as well as Uranus in Taurus, and for today and tomorrow we have Moon in Taurus as well. But the big thing here is Jupiter and Uranus, and this is something that's going to be here for the next month, by the way. So this is something that's good to keep in mind. And in a way, even over the next like three and a half months, 4 months, something like that, because Venus is in Leo all this time. So Jupiter and Venus are going to be dancing as well as Uranus and creating this tension, which again can be great. We'll get to that, but it's really easy for it to not be great. And the key is patience. Patience, breathing, that, especially with these Gemini energies, just taking that one moment to think, and hold on, should I react? Or what am I going to say? Or how is this going to be taken? It's really essential. I even with my experiences with these energies, which quite frankly, it's kind of like supercharged right now because all these energies out there, but I know how these energies function, so it's pretty easy for me to spot, being silly. You know, it's like we talked about last time, like the silly bitch syndrome, when our ego is just being, poor me, they're the blah, blah, blah. No. Stop it. Just stop. And again, I say that to myself all the time, like, just shut up, ego. It's that simple. Because that's the temper tantrum, that's the toddler within us, when the toddler just needs to learn how to accept no for an answer. It's like, you're not right. Stop. Don't burn that person. Or, you know what I mean? Like, don't explode in anger, ever. But especially during this time period, it can be really tempting, especially since we have these energies that are like, yes, let's move forward. This is really exciting. Let's go. And we feel the possibility, that square with Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus is really exciting because we can actually make a ton of progress. But if we're not patient when we need to be patient, when we don't learn to tell ourselves no, again, while still like with positive energy, enjoying ourselves, letting our inner child play and have fun and whatnot. But we're talking about like when we're throwing spaghetti, you know, that metaphor of that kind of toddler antics. Then if we're not patient when we need to be patient, then we're going to say and do things that we're going to later regret, which is reason enough, but it's also going to hold us back, which is also reason enough. You know, more importantly, we don't want to hurt other people or, you know, feel bad. But yeah, if we just are mindful of timing, we'll be able to make incredible progress over the course of this next month. And again, we're just a couple days away. I actually kind of spaced that. I totally forgot that we're just a couple days away from a new lunar cycle. So that's going to help tremendously. And again, on the positive side of all this, that Gemini energy is very clear-minded. The challenge with it is to be scattered, to be in so many different directions at once. But again, that's the thing, is like that too, is like if you just feed it a little bit of fun, then you're able to focus on what you're supposed to focus on. This is a tricky thing because juggling a couple things at once can actually really benefit this energy. I do best that way. My brain just functions that way, of just different things going on each day. I do a little bit of everything each day for all my passions, astrology and writing and music. It can be challenging when it feels like you're going in different directions at once, because you are. But ultimately, if you just do a little bit over here and then you like focus more over here, then you can still get a lot done. And I think that's really the key here. It's not trying to force yourself. These energies work best when you're just going with the flow. It's a weird thing because I know it's air energy, but like air has its flow too. It's currents of air, and fire, you know, you're just following the inspiration, following the sense of playfulness, of fun, of enjoyment, where you're not thinking about time and you lose sense of time. I think that's the main stuff for today. I feel like there's one more thing I was going to mention. I think I just can't say it enough. Laugh, have fun, enjoy. There was something I was going to mention. I think with Mercury Gemini, learn to open your mind, have conversations, as long as they're of substance. You don't want to, I've learned this from personal experience too, a long time ago. These energies can sometimes just want to talk. And again, with the Leo, it can like potentially say things too quickly. So take a moment. Breathe. I never got to that thing I was going to say. Hold on. So the thing that came up in that reading was a lot of the trick to these energies is to actually do exactly what I was just saying, is like to just be calm, be patient. Don't allow yourself to get sparked by other people losing control of their own egos, emotions, inner child throwing temper tantrums. Because so much of this season, especially for the next, I would say next month, but even the next like 2 weeks, is about sitting back, again, being patient, biding your time, but also learning how not to act, learning how not to speak. It's so easy to act and speak at this time and it's so easy to be misguided about it. That those who remain patient, you will benefit exponentially by not losing your cool. Again, you won't burn others, so when the time is right, you'll be able to communicate with them, you'll be able to work with them, you'll get information, you'll give information. It's all positive energy, so nobody's holding any resentment. You know, it's like, put ego to the side. Let your ego have its fun in a positive sense outside of the serious stuff, And then when it comes to the serious stuff, just be very mindful, and you'll get through this time period. And again, exponentially with fantastic movement forward. We are in a really cool window here where Jupiter's moved on to Taurus. We're able to focus and stabilize what we were excited about for the first part of the year and make it a material reality, and to have fun doing it, and to enjoy ourselves, to enjoy working with other people, communicating, etc. There's so much good energy out here. It's really just up to us to mess it up, which is always the case. But in this kind of situation where like things are overall very, very good, there's not any kind of like major challenge like we've experienced several times already over the course of this year. Like, yeah, let's just not mess this up. Let's enjoy it and be mindful, and we will reap the rewards. Yeah, I think that's enough. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste. And thank you again for anybody who wishes me happy birthday. I appreciate it. Peace.